We are learning a mimer together. This mimer is called Usfartim Lachem, which is about counting the Omer, to count for yourselves. It's a mimer of the Alter Rebbe on Parshas Amar, which is this week's Parsha. And Rivka and I started learning this last week, and we decided maybe giving something over to people doesn't have to be so complex and hard and planned. It could just be
informal,
like a fly on the wall, hearing two friends deep into Chavrasa, and
you're all invited.
It says that the beginning is wedged in the end and the end is wedged in the beginning. Bereshis is the first Chumash. Bereshis, there's a commentary that explains that you can read it as Barashes, which is Hashem created in 6. And yes, He created the world in 6 days, but the world is also created through 6 attributes: Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. And Malchus is Shabbos, is the day of rest. So Hashem created with 6. Okay, let's put a pin in that. That's Chumash Bereshis.
There's the 6th, and then there's the 7th.
Exactly.
And they are a unit, but they also are divided into 2 separate groups because the 7th is specifically set aside.
Sacred.
Both in the days of the week and in the attributes.
Exactly. And if we look at the final Chumash, Devarim, what does Devarim mean? Words. So we have Barashis, Hashem created in 6, and Devarim is Malchus, is speech. And then we have in between is Shemais, is all of us getting existential. What's my name? Who am I? Vayikra, we're being called. Bamidbar, we're in the deserts of our lives. Devarim, after the fact, after we all go through all the things we go through, every year, every season, every cycle, what emerges? Devarim. What emerges? Bereshis, I like to think of it as how Hashem creates, and Devarim is how we create. We're co-creators, right? So Bereshis is all about creation, right? The 6 days, Hashem created Vahi Er, Vahi Vaikar, we have night and day. We have the whole energy of dichotomy. So we start off from the very beginning of like push-pull, masculine, feminine, right? 6 and 1, or 6 and the 7th.
It's the start of differentiation. It's not just absolute oneness, which is what was before time began.
Yeah.
But with creation came the concept of there being any sort of separation or systems. So
Otherness,
yeah. Day, night. Day, weekdays, Shabbos. Masculine, feminine.
Exactly.
Just the systems of it all, the attributes, the different parts. It's not just oneness.
Infinite finite. Creation was God saying, I'm going to create something separate from myself that is not governed by the same rules that I'm governed by. And we're taught it's for the sake of relationship. And for myself, without that, like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here if we aren't in relationship with God? I think for any like deep feeling, sensitive soul, that's like a question that could rise for days in a row. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. If it's not for a relationship, it's very easy to roll into nihilism.
Yeah.
Because life is not easy. But it's worth it if you have a why. So when I know that Hashem did all of that, He took His oneness and He made parts. He made all those aspects just so that we could choose to be back together, but like it means something because there's free choice involved. Ooh, it's all worth it. There's something happening. There's something happening that hasn't happened before. Because when we were all just oneness, okay, and Hashem wanted something that He couldn't create in that state.
You bring us to Shemais. That's our individuality. Is Hashem wanted our uniqueness.
Shemais as in
names. Like we each
identity. You're a you, I'm a me. You're Malka, I'm Rivka. We're each a self. We're no longer just Oneness.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, we still are, but we have this new perception and this new experience of being a self.
Which is what allows for relationship.
Yeah. Now you have a who to bond with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we have Vayikra, which is Hashem calling to us. This is like the concept of Adam Kiyakar Mikam, of giving of our animal souls. Hashem is like, a woohoo. Like, remember the point?
I made that differentiation so that we can find each other. Like, I'm reading.
And Vayikra is very law
Come.
dense. People have a hard time or get frustrated about learning it because it's like law, 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 law. And it's like, you go from story to law. There's still story in Vayikra, but I think the association with Vayikra is like, it's a very law heavy book. But we know like that's what a vessel is. A law is a vessel. It's a vessel for connection. And Hashem says like, these are the containers where you meet me.
Yeah, it reminds me of like a story of how a couple meets, and it's this whole beautiful story, and whenever someone says, how did you meet, there's this whole cute story, and then they lived happily ever after. And what does happily ever after look like? They go home and they get to know each other
Forever.
What temperature do you like? I don't like that temperature. I don't like these sounds. You don't like those sounds. I don't like this lighting. I do like that lighting. And it's a whole lifetime of getting to know what each other likes, and then either communicating it to each other or on.
You just took all the pressure off me because I have my whole life to get to know God. Like, it's okay if I don't know right now. I'll get to know in the right time.
Yeah. You don't have to know all of it right now, as long as you're working on the relationship.
Yeah.
And it's from a complete sincerity. It's not a cop-out. It's really like, my goal is to make your experience as comfortable as possible, and I'm learning how to do it, and I have my whole life to perfect the craft. And it takes a lifetime to perfect that craft, to get to know someone's ins and outs and what tone in a room they appreciate and what might hurt them. And in the beginning, it has to be explicit, but over time, as the connection deepens,
You start dancing.
you can read the person's micro expressions. Even if they're not around, you start to be able to predict if they would appreciate a certain experience or gift. You don't even have to read them anymore. You just know them. And just the knowing gets deeper and deeper. And then you get from Shat Remez just sight, you go deeper and deeper until you get to the most intuitive, intimate parts of Hashem, where he doesn't have to spell it out. You can kind of understand, so that you just know him. And that's why it took so long. It takes time to go from the explicit to the intimate, intuitive. Like, that takes a lot of trust. It takes build up.
I wonder, like, how the generations before us, like, how was their God-sized cup full without Hasidus and Kabbalah? Like, what satiated them on that level? Or maybe they were so steeped in survival mode that they didn't have time to even consider the God-sized hole in them. What do you think?
I think that what was on their plate to do, because that was their soul's mission of that generation, it fulfilled them. Just like if you're fulfilling what you were born to do, it will feel right. So if they were fulfilling what was right for their generation, it felt right.
Yeah.
It just fit, you know? And I want to continue to Bamidbar, because now Hashem called us and he's like, come, let's get to know each other.
And
What are your sensitivities? What are your interests? What hurts you? What heals you? Tell me about it. I'm here to get to know you. And that's where all that law is. And now we're in the desert.
And now we're in the desert. And the desert is like, I think of it as the deserts of our lives, like the messy middles, those long stretches of like, what am I doing? Like, I feel isolated. So it talks about Amalek coming in and attacking them. And then like Amalek is doubt. Doubt creeps in. The Suffolk, Amalek creeps in. Every time we're about to enter the land, we're about to choose the aligned, harmonizing, intuitive thing. Doubt creeps in. It's like, and I know I totally struggle with this. I'm like, I don't even know which voice is the voice of doubt or which voice is the voice of intuition anymore. That it's like,
It's so well disguised.
it's so well, it meets you where you are.
Well, if it was too easy, there wouldn't be free choice associated,
Sure.
and then the bond wouldn't matter. It only matters if both parties really choose it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no autopilot involved.
Yeah. It's true. But that's Bamidbar. It's the deserts of our lives. It's going in circles. And something I love about the Chumash is that we read it every year. And it's so comforting to me. Like, I thought I dealt with this last year. It's like, babes, we read the Chumash again. You think you're on one cycle? You have lived multiple lives already. Correct. And we have read the Chumash as many times as you're alive. Like, cycles is part of divine design. I guess that's when I think of the deserts of my lives, is like the desert state is part of the cycle. And you know, before a garden or a field can grow, it has to just be left alone for a while. And that's when the roots get strengthened, and you don't see it because it's happening underground. But that's when the strengthening happens, and then we bloom, and then we blossom. But it's easy to only give credit to visible fruit and not to strengthening roots underground.
Yeah, it's not as obvious. That's why it's even more choice. You have to not just choose Hashem, you have to choose to find Hashem and to recognize Him where it's not obvious. Further investment. And then Devarim.
And Devarim is speech or words. And I think like when we flow through and get to Devarim, so after initial creation, after or rebirth, whatever that is for each person, that happens every day, every moment. We have Shemais, okay, identity crisis. I'm like, okay, this is me, this is who I am. These mantras that keep me sane for this period of my life. Then Vayikra, I remember it's actually not about me, it's about God. And then Bamidbar, and then from that place, I'm like, back in this like weird middle, I don't know, like ahead, forward, back, like everything looks the same, but I know I'm different, but why am I struggling with the same thing again? Just like all those uncomfortable, icky places we find ourselves in. And then we have Devarim, which is like, I understand it as, yes, the words you say, but not just to each other, to yourself, about God, about your story. It's like we wire our beliefs about our lives in the way that we speak about ourselves, in the way that we speak about what we've been through, in the way that we communicate. And I think for myself at least, like I have to almost like fall off for a while and then remember that and then be like, I want to be really intentional about how I talk about my process, because it's sacred. And not only is it sacred, it's that Malchus, right? It's the seventh. It's creating my belief reality, my own six, my mental and emotional, well, that's not six, but it's creating my experience of myself and of the world and of God. And it's a fine line here because
communication is Malchus.
Yeah.
So Malchus it creates worlds.
Correct.
So you got to be careful. You got to be strategic and intentional
Thought out,
because
yeah.
like there are stakes involved.
Yeah. And we could appreciate the divine design, which is like the Malchus of one world is the Keter, is the crown of the following world. So let's say if we look at like Bria and Yetzira, so Malchus of Bria, so Malchus of the second to highest world, the lowest faculty of the second to highest world, is the Keter, is the crown of the world that comes after it. I think of it like in like the practical parallel, or one practical parallel can be like, we're having this Malchus experience right now, right? We're in communication, we're in expression. What this is doing is going to be the Keter, it's going to be the crown, the subconscious push behind your next interaction. Whether you are conscious of it or not, when you walk away from this, the way you walk away, that's going to lend itself to the next interaction you have.
That's going to be your opener for the next one.
Correct.
It's not independent. The two interactions aren't separate. They're linked by the Malchus of the last interaction.
Which is the Keter of the next.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That it leads into the next interaction. You set the tone, you set the energy and how what the feel is about that.
Yeah. I have a friend that told me that like she thinks of it as like we all have like glue on us, and like if I have happy glue and now I'm interacting with you, you are getting some happy glue stuck on you, and that means the next person you interact with, unless they're like a real downer, you're gonna happy glue them. And it's like when the Rebbe talks about like a small act of kindness has a ripple effect, or like mitzvah geras mitzvah, and a good deed leads to another good deed. I think when we zoom out, it doesn't feel that way. But when we zoom in, it's like, no, literally, like one good interaction creates a ripple, and someone's going to sleep with a smile instead of a frown because of one good interaction you had that you didn't even know was affecting them.
These occurrences are not isolated events. Everything is completely linked, whether it's obvious or not. So don't kid yourself.
Yeah.
You're not in a vacuum.
Exactly.
You're a node in a network. And as Jordan Peterson says, someone will meet at least 1,000 people in their lifetime, and each of those will meet at least 1,000, and that puts you one person away from 1 million and 2 people away from 1 billion.
Wow.
And the ripples just go outward, and it goes and it goes, and you're just not isolated, and nor are your interactions. The interaction doesn't die with 2 people parting ways. It creates the next world for the next interaction. Each of those, even if it's not towards each other, their next interaction with anybody, those ripples continue on. It doesn't go nowhere.
Wow. Shall we? We enter. This mimer is based on the pasuk where Hashem is telling Moshe to tell Bnei Yisrael that when they come to Eretz Yisrael and they're going to harvest the grain, they should bring up an Eimer offering of the first harvest to the Kohen. And we recognize this language of giving of the first, of giving our bikurim, the first fruits. So we have this with the Eimer, and we're commanded the Hanif Esa Eimer, to wave the Eimer offering before Hashem in the Beis Hamikdash, and this is going to bring Hashem's kindness to us. And we do this from the first day of Pesach. The Kohen should be waving this Eimer offering, and we know we do this for 49 days. And we already...
That's the source for counting the Omer?
Yeah.
It was an actual offering?
Oh yeah, they did
wow.
it. We're doing what they did. In the same way that we read Karbanes, and they brought Karbanes, same idea. They brought up the Eimer offering.
Verbally.
Exactly, we offer it verbally, our speech, right?
Yeah.
We offer it verbally, and we know like the animal that we're bringing up is the animal soul, is the heart.
Yeah, our natural instinct that's encouraging us to use our time in other ways.
Exactly.
We're saying, I'm actually gonna push past that instinct and do it.
And realign you.
Align with my values.
Exactly.
With what I know is important.
Exactly.
Which is my relationship. Giving of myself to my relationship, which is why it matters. If it was low stakes, it wouldn't feel like it matters.
Yeah.
If you're bringing your person something that was very easy to obtain, it's nice, it's a thought, the thought does count, but when the person knows that you had to invest time and effort to consider what they would appreciate, and then to go out of your way and to spend your time and your energy on preparing something for them, that's way, way, way more important.
Yeah.
Because it meant something. It costed you something. This is a sacrifice, an investment.
Alter Rebbe says this is why we get tzedakah before we dive in. Because when you give from that space of I worked hard for this money, my energy's on the line. When you give from that place, that's like the deepest form of intimacy. You open the depths of your heart to Hashem, and then when you dive in, you're actually letting Hashem in. It's the same thing with a friend or with a partner. It's like when you're giving from that place of my hard-earned energy, time, money, you're creating room for intimacy, for deepening a bond.
Yeah, that's what you told me when you came to my event. I was like, whoa, how'd you, it was amazing that you were just available. You were like, I wasn't available. I made myself available. That's when it matters, you know? it matters way more than if someone were just available looking to fill their time, and this was convenient.
Yeah.
Convenience nice, but it doesn't mean as much.
Usfartem lacha mimachras haShabbos. You should count for yourselves from a Shabbos after. Miyam haviyachem as Imrat Nufa. From the day that I will bring to you this wave offering, this Aimer wave offering. Shava Shabbasais, Tamimais Tiena. 7 Shabbasim. And Tamimais is like earnest, sincere, whole. 7 full Shabbasim, 7 whole, 7 sincere Shabbasim. Hine usvartem hulishain behiros kamay evan sapir. The word usvartem comes from the language of behiros, which is to clarify, to refine, like an evan sapir, like a radiant stone. And we're just going to stop at this word usvartem, sapir, and take a moment to appreciate like the many layers of this word, and it's going to lend itself to the rest of the mimer. So usfartim is to count. Usfartim lachem, you should count 49 days, 7 full weeks. We have sapir, which is this radiant stone. We have sefer, which is a book, or sipor, a story. We have sapir, to shine, radiant. And we also have the 10 spheres, the 10 attributes, the 10 faculties. And we can appreciate that Hashem created the world with the 22 letters of the Aleph Beis and with words, and that nothing is a mistake. And that if we look at 3 letters, Samach, Fe, and Reish, and the combination of them in a specific order in 5 different instances looks the same but means something else, there must be
A unifying force behind it.
correct.
They're all related, but not just related. There's a common energy that infuses itself within all of those. It's the same energy,
Exactly.
just looking a bit different. Same powerhouse behind it.
Exactly. And we can say, like, what's a wedding ring? What's the stone of a wedding ring? It's the story. It contains the love story. It contains the process. So I'm just appreciating the sapir and the sipor, right? The stone contains the story. Yeah. And what is it? It's a story of the fusion of these two people's spheros, of their
Complete commitment.
totally. But it's the binding, the attachment of these two people's faculties. That is the story, and that is the stone, and that is the refinement of each other and themselves that allowed for a marriage, a fusion.
It's a story because there was a time when they weren't fused, and then there was a fusion. There's a beginning of the story and an end of the story. There's something that happened. It wasn't just one continuousness. There was a change that occurred, and that's a story. There's something to tell about.
The stone.
First, and the stone represents that story.
Yeah. V'chein, and so too, Esther spheres hu l'shen behiros. The 10 spheres of Atzilos are an expression of behiros, of clarification, of refinement, of purity. And I remember learning this way of understanding the spheres in Atzilos that can help. It's like if you have a clear balloon or an ice cube, there's a form, but I have a transparent vision to the center of that form, to what that vessel contains. That's what a tzaddik is. You look at a picture of a tzaddik, and yes, you see a body, but the soul is on their sleeve. You don't have to ask for it, you don't have to dig for it. They live in a state of alignment, of transparency, of righteousness.
It's just obvious.
It's just obvious, exactly. It's there. That's the behiros, the refinement.
It's full
Exactly.
sincerity. There's no ego polluting it.
There's
There's
nothing.
zero pollution.
Zero
It's just
pollution.
like how in Venice, the river during COVID, like it became more transparent. There was nothing polluting it. A tzaddik doesn't have any of his self or herself polluting the obvious godliness.
Yeah.
They're fully available,
Mhm.
just available.
So we said that the 10 spheres of Atzilos are referred to in the same idea of clarity, of refinement, of transparency. Right? What's a radiant stone is that you see through the stone. There's nothing blocking.
Nicks and cracks.
There's nothing. No noise. V'zeu usfartim lachem kulu. And this is how we can interpret usfartim lachem. You should count for yourselves. Hainu lahamshich asher spheres she'yu lachem lamata. To draw down the 10 spheres so that they should shine onto you down here. So again, the Esser spheres in Atzilos are called transparent, are called clarified, totally refined, totally pure. And when we count, we are asking Hashem the bracha. We're saying, I want to draw down the light of the Esser spheres of Atzilos. I want to draw down the light from a place where the spheres are totally transparent to their creator, to their source. That's what I want to receive. And I think we have to taste something to have a memory, to desire to return to that state.
Oh, big time. I see that with sometimes I see an addict and I know, I wonder if rock bottom can even work for them, because even if they hit rock bottom, do they even have a memory of, do they even have a reference point for what a better life can be, that there is such a potential? You know, some people have never actually experienced anything better. So even if they hit rock bottom, like, now what?
Yeah.
They don't even have what to aim at because they don't even have a memory of it having once been better.
It's like the story of the boy that was born in the prison. Like, you grow up in darkness, so you don't know that there's light. He didn't know sunshine existed.
Yeah. And it's still a question of mine. Like, what do you do in that case? Like, you just, I guess, from what I understand, the only thing, I might not be right, but from what I understand, the one thing we could do is just give them just so much love with no strings attached so that they do have a reference for what a better life can feel like. For what right can feel like.
Yeah. Wow.
For what goodness can feel like. It's what we call chesed chinam, right?
Yeah.
Just like zero expectation for it to affect them in any particular way. I'm just here to give.
Yeah.
And whatever they receive, they receive. Whatever they don't, they don't. And I'm just here being a giver.
I remember learning, like, well, we don't even know about the cages that we're currently trapped in right now, right? Because, okay, we've experienced love and life and light, but we don't know. Every person is living in a cage. We don't know what the construct is that we're living in, and cages are healthy and good, right? We need some borders and bounds and rules and systems, and also cages are detrimental. Everything we do is a reflection of our beliefs, the cages in our mind, about ourselves, about society, about what God has in store for us. And I would say there's, like, you know, the extreme of, like, the cage of an addict, but there's also the cages of the non-addict. I think we're all an addict in some way. We all serve.
Big time.
Yeah, we all have
That's why we learned,
vices.
Tanya.
Yeah. But yeah, there's basically that. We're all an addict in our own way.
Yeah. We're all doing, well,
Even
I'll
if
speak
your
for
addiction is non-fatal, that's what I mean to say.
Yeah. I'll speak for myself, but every time oh my God, the amount of habits I have that are so hard to break, even though I wish I didn't have them, that's my addiction. I know it's hurting me. I don't want to be doing it, and I'm doing it to myself anyway. That's an addiction right there. It's having an adverse effect on me, and I'm aware of it, and I don't want it. Yet it has its whole grip on me so tightly, and it's so hard to get out of that grip.
To understand this, Pesach is the time of leaving Mitzrayim, and Shavuos is the time of receiving the Torah. And before we receive the Torah, we have to count 7 complete weeks. And only after counting 7 complete weeks can we receive the Torah. Kihin Iksiv, like it's written, V'achayis ratzei v'shav. The chayis, these angels, ratzei, they run towards Hashem v'shav, and they return to their spiritual standing. Shalamayla hakol b'fchinas ratzei v'shav. And we understand that on high, everything operates with these two stages. Everything operates in a dichotomous way of rush and return, of I taste the light, and now I ground the light. I go closer to Hashem, and then I go back to my space.
With Hashem with me this time.
Yes, I integrate my finding into my life. Like, I Shabbos, and then I integrate Shabbos into my week.
Yeah.
Because that's our own, well, it's like a...
I daven and then I feel Hashem in my day.
Exactly.
All of it. It's like you tap into this gorgeous oneness and then you integrate it back into where there feels like there's an absence of that.
And that's the work of our lives, right?
That's that relationship. It's we were one, but we separated. We were given the experience of being separate from Hashem so that we could choose Hashem. But this time, on purpose, we could integrate the two.
Hashem's obsessed with integration.
Yeah, it's literally relationship is everything.
Yeah.
The fusion. Fusion is everything because that is the ultimate. That is truth. Ein Sof is just oneness. So fusion is just the practice that achieves oneness, but on purpose this time. So it's just going back to the natural state, but by choice.
From a very human place. Exactly. With the choice. Because then it's like, it means something. So everything operates in this way of rate and shav, of push and pull, of dichotomy. And similarly, Pesach is ratzai. Pesach is this urgency. I need to get out now.
It's a burst.
It's a burst. It's exciting. It's inspiring. And then Shavuos is settle down. Bechina shav. Let's integrate.
Settle into it.
Settle
really.
into.
Yeah.
And what's Shavuos the result of? It's after I counted 7 full weeks, after I went into every nook and cranny, every micro faculty, every faculty within itself.
And allowed that light to seep in and then to be absorbed, which is what integration is. It's absorption. It's when the fusion occurs.
Then I'm ready to receive the Torah. And to Kabbalah, to receive, I have to be a whole vessel. And this is the process of refining our vessel, of creating, of building out our vessels, so that we can Kabbalah, so that we can receive the Torah. And why is this? The Alter Rebbe explains, Ki Pesach hu Yetzias Mitzrayim, shehu b'chipazayin. Pesach is Yetzias Mitzrayim, is leaving Mitzrayim, b'chipazayin, in urgency. They are running out. K'may shekaseh, like it says, v'achaltem eisei b'chipazayin. They ate the Karban Pesach in a hurry. Uchsev b'chipazayin yatzasa, and in a hurry they left. Ki az haya hiskalos alikos milmayla. And this is because at the same time, the revelation of godliness from above, Kamaimar, like it says, Ad shenigla aleim melech malchei melchem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, u'ga'alam b'fchinas chipazayin. It says that Bnei Yisrael eat this matzah because our ancestors didn't have time for their matzah to rise, for their challah to rise before Hashem. What happened? Hashem revealed himself. Bnei Yisrael got a taste of the light and they ran for it. Of course they ran for it. The addict finally got a sliver of hope. They are running. They want to attach and hold on to and never let go. The child that grew up in a prison finally tasted sunshine. There's no looking back. So Bnei Yisrael had to leave in a state of urgency. Yetzias Mitzrayim had to be an urgency. That moment that we find the light for the first time or the 100th time in a different area of our lives, new standard, of course we're urgent. Of course we run towards it. I just tasted the light. What else would I do if not run towards the light?
We now have expensive taste. I'm not going back to the cheap stuff.
No. You know what it tastes like exactly. Ula asid ksiv, But about Mashiach it says, Ki lai v'chipazayin tetzeu, they're not going to leave in a hurry. Uvimnu salai selechon, and you're not going to travel in a rush. Shelai b'chinas chipazayin, Mashiach will not be in this way of urgency. Aval Yetzias Mitzrayim haya v'chipazayin chulu. But Yetzias Mitzrayim was in this dimension of urgency. V'hainu b'chinas ratzai mimatzah l'mayla. And this shows how Yetzias Mitzrayim was this idea of ratzai, from below to above, from us yearning to meet the light, to meet Hashem, to experience the revelation.
We did reach out to Hashem when Paro was working us so hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we cried out to Hashem for help. We reached out, you know?
Yeah.
Is that rock bottom?
Well, rock bottom happens many times in our lives, so
It was a rock bottom.
it's a rock bottom.
Yeah.
But we get to read it every year, and we were meant to think about Yetzias Mitzrayim every day, multiple times a day. So
Well, think about it. What happens the first step of the 12 steps? I admit that I'm not in my own hands. It's time to ask a higher power for help.
we said that Bnei Israel left Mitzrayim in a rush, and that was the initial redemption. The prototype for redemption was urgency. They tasted the light, they needed it now, they needed to get there. But that's not how Mashiach will be. That's not how redemption will be in our times. Redemption is going to come from an integrated place, from a place where we are already dancing and grounded and rooted and not chasing the next high, the next experience of revelation of transcendence. It's going to be woven into our lives, Be'ezrat Hashem. Masha'en Kain, Shavuos. Unlike Shavuos, Hu Bechinas Shaiv, which is the Bechina that I mentioned of Shaiv, of settling, of returning.
That's Shavuos Milashon Shaiv.
That's
Return.
Shavuos, Milashon Shaiv, Milashon Teshuvah, Milashon Shabbos.
Ratzoi Shaiv. I see it.
You see it.
It's right there.
And what's
the text.
Ratzoi? Ratzoi is my will, my Ratzain. Ani rotzeh, I want. There's the urgency, there's the desire. We need Ratzoi. It's amazing. It gets us to
It's an
go.
activator.
It's activator. But without the Shav, without the Shabbos, without the Teshuvah to return, right? The Shavuos, the Shavua, the Sheva, it's all in the seventh. It's all in the feminine. Their redemption was
Mashiach's times.
totally.
Yeah, the Galus is only there for the Mashiach's times. It's necessary.
And
but
even
for
the
purpose.
first redemption had its own galus. The first redemption was in this masculine state of ratzoi, of urgency. So yes, it was redemption, but it was exiled redemption. It was
was phase one.
unintegrated, 100%.
Yeah.
And our generation's Avaida is all about the feminine redemption. Is to be in it, is to be grounded in it, is that I experience transcendence here without the urgency, and to appreciate that we only get there with the urgency.
It's
We
a different
rush
kind
forward.
of Mitzrayim. The Mitzrayim are not a place that you can run away from. You need to transform it. We're right where it is.
Yeah. The same way the animal is the one in our heart. We're not bringing up an animal, we're bringing up our hearts. And so to our redemption is not an exit from Mitzrayim into Eretz Yisrael. Eventually it will be. It's going to come full circle, right? It says that the woman is the crown of her husband, and then she elevates him. He goes back. We're going to return to Eretz Yisrael. The physical dimension is part of the plan. But our Avodah right now is our own bodies, is the feminine, the vessel. Is can I bring about redemption to my own self, to my fellow, in an embodied way? And what you said, 1 becomes 10, becomes 100, becomes 1,000, becomes 1 billion, and our redemption trickles out, and it becomes exponential.
Yeah. Just like the animal is no longer literal, it's an internal version. The Mitzrayim is also no longer tactile, physical. It's an internal version. And just like the Yetzias Mitzrayim was once a physical experience, a tangible experience, now it's an internal experience. Everything's gone internal. It's all gone internal, all inside, from outside to inside. Same blueprint, different location.
Oh yeah. And even I'm just appreciating how when something shifts in the world, everything shifts. Like, people spend so much money on their internal world right now and on their external world, but we're so desperate to experience inner peace, to experience shlemus, wholeness, fullness, connection, and to feel healthy and to feel whole and to feel healed, that we'll invest so much effort into that. And I remember a friend of mine said, she's like, what's with our generation that like just has time to like sit and like record a podcast on like the psychological experience of Chassidus, and it's like that's literally our generation's Avodah.
It's not no longer a tangible thing. Avodah is an internal thing. It was always also internal, but I think it's primarily now.
And it's that, thank God, hopefully each one in their time is out of survival mode enough that we can actually attune ourselves and experience it, and not keep it up here, but really DOS it, really integrate it into our beings and become and embody the Torah, embody the Chassidus, and not just, it's not a conversation, it's a way of life.
The Rebbe is Nisan. The Rebbe is born the time, the Aries, Yitzias Mitzrayim, urgency, that
He's
like
3 days to Pesach.
3 days to Pesach, it's got that Yitzias Mitzrayim energy.
Oh, yeah.
But then you got to do the integration all on your own. That's what the Rebbe said. He said, like,
and he said you need both.
Yeah.
And
He said, this is all I can do. Now you got to do the integration. Like, I helped you get out. You know, I did phase one.
I gave you the light. I revealed the light to you,
Yeah.
and now you need to integrate the light.
Yeah, I can't do the second part for you. That's an inner experience.
And that's each man on his own must do.
Yeah.
Year in, year out, day in, day out.
Yeah.
And that's the stretch of time where we have the Rebbe spiritually, we don't have him in a body. And it's I think giving us permission to integrate.
We probably needed that burst
That space also.
of Rebbe energy in order to get to a place where we can become a Keli for phase 2, for the Kabbalah Satira,
100%.
to fully receive Hashem fully, you know, which is the ultimate Gula, that return to that fused state, that ultimate fused state, which is most natural to us, but this time we chose it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know about you, but that'll tell you that they gently integrated Yiddishkeit or God. They had a moment that changed them.
a burst moment.
And many went too hard too fast and then came back to earth, and some had that burst and then integrated, but everyone generally had that initial urgency, initial yitzia, initial revelation.
It's like a turning point. It's like pivotal.
Oh yeah. Okay, we said Masha Ein Kein Shavuos Hu Bechina Shav, unlike Shavuos, which is the Bechina of Shav, of return, of groundedness, of sitting, of Shabbos, of Tshuva.
The feminine.
The feminine, the softness,
Receiving.
the being versus doing, right?
Yeah.
Settling in. Shu Bechinas Matan Torah.
It's full acceptance.
Full acceptance.
Yeah.
I think of it as flow state of like, I'm in it. Like, I don't have to, it's when my speech is aligned with how I feel. I don't have to, I could, not Chas v'Shalom go back to autopilot, but like my autopilot is so aligned with God that my habits are coming from that place of like truth, to be mystic. And it's so hard to get there. And it's okay, we have our whole life to get there. Shu Bechinas Matan Torah. This is the Bechina of Matan Torah. Giloi Ritzayne Lamata, the revelation of Hashem, of His will down here. K'maish Kasev, like it says, Vayered Hashem al Har Sinai. Hashem lowered Himself onto Har Sinai. So what's Yitzias Mitzrayim? Yitzias Mitzrayim is the human ascends and gets a taste of the light. Matan Torah is God descends, and we ground that transcendence. We ground the light. He descends onto the mountain. Hamshacha mil milo lamata, it's a drawing down from above
first
to below.
Showed that we're available, and now that pouring can occur, the fusion can occur, because we were available. The feminine energy, which is the Jewish, in the Hashem Jewish people relationship, the Jewish people are the feminine. Although we're receivers, which seems passive, in order to be a receiver, we but
For
There
some of
has
us,
to be
it's more active than giving.
There's a becoming available to receive is hard. It can be very hard work.
Hence why we have 49 days.
Yeah, it's a whole process, but there has to be a signal of availability, and that was that cry to Hashem. It says, Hashem, we're available, we're ready, and Hashem's like, got you. Let's go, let's do it. Activate, plan.
I'm even appreciating like the process of planting a seed is like there's that initial planting. Like it takes, how long does it take to plant a seed in the ground? A couple minutes. How long does it take to water and provide sunlight and tender love and care to a seed?
Protect it from wildlife.
Day in, day out. And then one day it
Farmers'
just
work
emerges.
never ends.
Never. Overnight.
Yeah.
And then one day it just blooms and blossoms.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm just appreciating like the seed is compared to the masculine, like in Kabbalah and Chassidus, and that whole process of like showing up and nurturing it. We are, we think of the vessel as building something, but oftentimes it's releasing something. We have a vessel inside us already, but there's a lot of schmutz between ourselves and our pure state. And oftentimes we need to release a layer, disintegrate, shed the shell. And then when the seed has decomposed enough, sprout, a flower emerges, a tree emerges. So I think maybe we can even just shift the whole idea of Sphere Summer is not, I need to do something else. It's what am I doing that I should stop doing? Or what narrative am I feeding that I can stop feeding?
What parts of me are my true self? And what parts of me are shells that I have developed that were helpful for a time, but that I no longer need? What is my actual true self? Like it's separating the wheat from the chaff. Where am I in this mix? Where is the truth in this mix? And what am I ready to just release and say thank you for your help, for when you did help, and now I'm okay without you. Now I'm ready for just straight truth, straight realness.
And it's hard because the chaff comes back. I'm thinking of it as a malik. A malik comes back, doubt comes back. We think we released something and then it's back. And it's like, didn't I release you? I thought we already did this thing. And
it's a good thing we have a blueprint for how to do it any amount of times we deem necessary. As many times as it comes back, we still have the blueprint of the 7 weeks till 49. Like, could do it as many times as it takes every year. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
As many years as it takes, as Hashem deems fit for our lifetime. As long as we're employed, we'll continue at it. Mashiach's not here, I'm still employed.
V'hinei ksev, like it says, L'man tizkar Hashem tetzcha me'eretz Mitzrayim kol yemei chayecha. You should remember the day you came out of Mitzrayim all the days of your life. You need to remember the revelation. You need to remember the light. You need to remember that urgency that you fled with. You have to remember it, because what happens? Life starts getting life again. We forget those Tishrei moments. We forget the highs. We forget the light. And we integrate. We take it a little too far, integration. we go shove. And we have to remember. Yochanan Razal, like Razal says, Bechol dar v'dar, in every generation, shetarch leis bechol yom b'chinas yetzias Mitzrayim, which means that every day a person has to spiritually experience Yetzias Mitzrayim. We have to remember every single day. And when do we remember? This wouldn't be a member of the Alter Rebbe if we didn't talk about Kriyat Shema. When do we remember? V'hainu b'Kriyat Shema, during Shema. V'ahavta, and you should love. As Hashem l'ikecha b'chol vavcha b'chol nafshecha b'chol meidecha chulu. Should love Hashem, your God, with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. V'chaisem, until you get to this point of Ani Hashem l'ikecha asher yitzei chulu. I am Hashem, your God, who took you out of Mitzrayim. What does it mean? Till we get to the point where we're experiencing that Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. we have to experience that oneness you described of a tzaddik. We're meant to say Shema in a way that we feel the oneness, that we feel as though we are being taken out. Kol yom mechadash, every single day anew, I am being redeemed fully. Why do we say Shema so many times? We say it twice in the morning, we say it twice at night. One of the davenings that you are not counted for the mitzvah of Shema if you do not have the intention, if you do not have the thought about the meaning of the words.
It's an experience,
It's an
not just a task.
And for like the meditative type, it's like, duh. Like, what else would Shema be? I'm like, it's the anti-anxiety meditation. It's the.
If you can get there, if you can feel that Yitzias Mitzrayim.
Well, this is our Avodah, and I like to say that the Alter Rebbe has only told us something that we can access.
Yeah,
And
it's attainable.
It's attainable.
Yeah, that's true. Even I can imagine attaining it on a certain level. And then I guess once you access that, you can kind of expand it over time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just like your palate expands, your spiritual palate be expanding.
Yeah.
I know, like, I remember the first time I felt this feeling, and I think, like, when I talk to a younger version of myself that would learn about this and be like, okay, that's not, like, that's for some people, but that's not for me because I'm not her. And then, like, you put in the work, you meditate enough, you think about God enough, you slow down your davening enough, learn enough, and receive divine assistance and experience that for the first time, and it's like, wait, Kikari Velacha, it's within my reach?
Yeah. Well, think about it. Same way your palate expand. Like, you could use a palate expander. It doesn't take overnight. You're going to break it. You're going to break your mouth.
Oh yeah.
You have to. It takes many months
Oh yeah.
of very slow change. And how long does it take till Matan Torah? It's 7 weeks. That's 49 days. It's incremental and it's slow capacity expansion.
Yeah.
That's building a kli, right? It's capacity expansion. That's the same as attachment work. It's capacity expansion for closeness, from unavailability to availability. Now I can host someone. Now I can fuse with someone because I can handle it. I can hold it. It's not breaking my kalim. These things take time. So if I'm going to get there, that's okay if it takes time. Capacity is built very slowly over time, and if you rush, if you treat the capacity expansion like it's Yitzias Mitzrayim, you might break something.
You will, in fact.
It's not. It doesn't work that way.
And that's part of the divine design, the Shviras HaKelim before Tikkun, right? The Kelim have to break and shatter, and we have to hit a certain breaking point to then say, I actually want to do this the right way. I want to integrate this.
Incrementally.
Yeah.
But how would we have known to do it incrementally if we didn't know about Shviras HaKelim?
Or how would we feel okay for the breaking points and the shatterings if we didn't have divine resonance? Said in this week's Pirkei Avos, I was just appreciating this so much, that, like, how beloved are we that Hashem created us in His image. Like, what a sweet thing for Hashem to create us in a way that we can find resonance in Him. The infinite God, we're finding resonance in Him. Like, oh, I hit breaking point before I integrate too. Like, divine design, excuse me. Like, He did that for us. That's so much love and kindness. As Hashem was like, let me create you in the image of me, and you're going to see me if you choose to. And that's, I think...
And therefore I'll be with you in that experience because
Yeah.
I've been there.
You'll
I've
feel me.
tried
I
it.
was there. You'll feel me. You'll see me
Yeah.
if you choose to. And that's what the Alter Rebbe has given us. Like, I think through Lakotei Torah is like how my lens of divine resonance has been developed is by learning Lakotei Torah. It's like, wait. It starts like, I'm like, oh, I see God here too, not because it's perfect, but because this was God's process too. Or this was God as He contracted Himself's process. But things become okay. We soften the edges of struggle, of breakthrough, of breakdown, because that's literally divine design. I love your marinating state.
We've got the ratzoy and now I gotta shave it. Gotta get it integrated because it's there's so much.
Oh yeah.
And it's like now this time in English.
And again, you have your whole life. You know?
I was thinking how Hashem created us in his image, or it's such a compassion towards our experience, even though that I don't know what the motive is on Hashem's part, but regardless, it's such a comfort. And it reminds me of how before police officers given a taser, they each get tased.
Wow.
Like before you put
that.
something on someone else, before Hashem will have us experience something, he experiences it. And we know, if I'm experiencing sadness, it's only like, it's a artificial version of the actual sadness Hashem can experience, or pain, or joy. These are all like, it's a fraction of what is the real sort of sadness that Hashem experiences, or the joy, or the oneness, or any experience that a human being can experience. Because we're just an image of the real. So if Hashem is going to go through any sort of thing that we're going through, he's experiencing it on, a whole nother level. That's such a kindness, How stunning.
Yeah.
So compassionate. And I'm like, Hashem won't put it on us before he himself experiences it on like a whole different scale.
I think like finding resonance in the divine design is for sure a turning point in like my relationship with Hashem. Being like, wait, not only do you know me, but you want me to get to know you, and there's actually a way I can, in my own limited, finite way, get to know you and get to dance with you and have a relationship with you. Because what's dating? It's getting to know someone. What's designating time to hang out with a friend? It's, I want to hear about your week. Tell me about you. Or I want to hear the depths of your soul or your heart. I want to bring with you. That's like choosing to get to know someone. And then Hashem is like, well, that's what Torah is. If we designate time to show up to it, we're saying, Hashem, I want to get to know you. But for us to be able to experience the knowing of him in our own existence. And that's what you refer
to as divine resonance.
Yeah.
Knowing Hashem.
Yeah, totally.
Getting him.
Totally. And we have the word da, which is to know. If you flip the letters, it's aid, it's a witness. It's like, when do I get to know you? When I witness you. Right? What you said before, it's like, I think about my friends that I've been friends with for years versus like a newer friend or a newer relationship, and it's like friends that I've known for longer, family, it's like I know exactly what they want. I know what their taste is. I know when they want me to add salt on their food. It's like the little things. But why is that? Because the longer you witness someone, the more you know them.
Yeah, and the more someone knows you, it's proof that they've been witnessing.
Why do we, like, when someone like is like, I got that for you, and you're like, wait, like, you know me, like, girl, you know me, and it's like, oh my gosh, you've been witnessing. And to appreciate that that's even within the knowledge and the knowing, this is what Hashem wants of us within creation, is to know each other, to know him, to know ourselves. And what's knowledge? Knowledge is love, right? We go from das to the heart. We go from the mind to the heart. Das is the bridge. Da, to know, is the integration, is the staying long enough for something to trickle down. And that's why knowledge, or da, like Adam Yadas Chava, that's the language of intimacy, of love, of attachment, because we get excited about the result, and Hashem's like, do the work. You want to love someone? Get to know them. You want to love me? Get to know me. And that's Chassidus and Kabbalah. It's our portal towards getting to know God, and getting to know God is getting to love God.
Yeah, and you go through all 5 Chumashim of the Torah to loop it back to the beginning, where there's Bereshis, and then there's Shemais, and like you have your own identity, but that's just on the process to getting to know me. And then Vayikra, call, like, here's an invitation to get to know me some more. And Bamidbar, and it's like, ooh, I'm not really, it's not just given to me freely anymore. I think you don't have that big romantic Shemais story of how Hashem made this big, huge romantic gesture for us. And it's not like the part where we're kind of exploring each other. There's more, it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And what forms out of that is that fusion, that oneness. That's like what we're building towards and trying to accomplish out of this whole multiple stage routine.
That's the attachment. I'm turning it back to to Bereshis and Dvarim, or the 6th and the 7th, that's the Yesod, right? Yesod is attachment, which is represented by Friday. We have the now we're attached. We got to know each other. We trickle down. Now we're attached. There's intimacy. And from that place of attachment, Malchus, I can be with you. We don't have to do anything anymore. I can just sit with you. You're like my peak top relationship status is like a friend, a family member, a person I could just sit on the couch with, not do or say or.
And there is no self-consciousness. There's just us.
Just being.
And like, you don't have to explain. You know how you look up at someone who you really know, and you just like kind of, and they just like nod and they're like, yeah, yeah, me too. You didn't exchange any words. You're in that oneness state where you're completely integrated in each other's experiences.
You're Malchusing.
You're Malchusing. Put that on a bumper sticker.
It's sovereign. It's I love that. It's integrated being. Because it's not that we're just sitting on the couch and we appreciate each other from a distance. It's no, we actually know each other. We've been through the ups and downs and continue to choose each other. And now we get to sit on the couch and just appreciate each other's being.
Goes through the phases though.
Oh yeah.
It's got to go through the showing up for each other and then getting to know each other's, strengths and weaknesses. There are phases to it. It doesn't just come for free. You can't do it with a stranger. They could get you on a certain level, but eventually you realize how they actually don't really get you. After that first, like, oh my God, we really know each other. We get each other. Oh my God, you're just like me. And then kind of the differences start to show. But if you go through the stages of building oneness, you really can get someone.
And you can learn to appreciate the differences, which is.
You can still be one even if they both exist, as long as you're willing to join in, as long as you're willing to join in this, like, I don't want to say a third space, but as long as you're willing to step out of your ego and your selfhood for a little bit and just be together in that third, this like creation that we both create together out of ourselves, It's like, what do you bring to the table? What's the table? Like, when someone says,
baby.
yeah, like when someone says, what do you bring to the table? I think sometimes people mean like, what are you bringing to me? Like, what do you have to offer me? But it's like, no, the table is the relationship. And what do you bring to the table? I bring legs, you bring legs. Together we hold up the table.
What are we co-creating?
Yeah.
Versus what do I have to receive from you?
Yeah. We're building that shared state of oneness.
We'll leave off here. I want us to just do our part to DOS what we just learned, to make practical, to give ourselves something to walk with, something to integrate, and that could be in doing or in being, but for myself and any other person with a tendency towards urgency, which again I think we all have to a degree, but to release the shame of the process of showing up in urgency. You're normal.